heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message, homie, ain't no flexing on me, my attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me, my successes only made them envious, they got upset. I had to put all their egos in check. I want the money, the power, respect, and I heard you know so-and-so, you not a threat, cause I really know so-and-so, they like my family, so they go pretend that they cool till they bust at your motherfucking chest. I'm getting gutter, my flow been like butter, my check in the bank, they see the number. All of my haters feel one of two ways, really upset or they show some respect. I can't even think about it, I've been up, so read about it, no beat around it, straight to it, no ring around it. You coming for me, we'll see about it, we'll never see it when I get my feet up. 100 meters where I run the field, and go for chinging on a manapia. I had to re-up on a reel, so you stay the feeder, and put it back into the bit, cause I don't really need it. I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message, homie, ain't no flexing on me, my attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me, my successes only made them envious, they got upset. I had to put all their egos in check. I had to put all their egos in check. You're not entitled to anything else. I get 10 years of this under my belt. Your art is an art, they don't feel it, and nobody hears it. Initiative stay on the shelf. Your ego done got in the way. It gotta die today. It gotta go. You should be happy I lighten the load. The weight of your arrogance, heavy as stone. I make an appearance, they already know. That chip on your shoulder gon' crumble and fold, yeah. It's not a secret that you have been fearing the shit that I'm on. So you back to the brag and the boast. But I'm in a class of my own. I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check.
What's up, you beautiful people? How are you? Obviously, I am not in Hawaii, right? This definitely does not look like Hawaii. This is New York City, but Mr. Ken is in Hawaii, and we're gonna bring a little taste of Hawaii to today's show. So let me just jump right in and bring in the co-host for today.
Hello, everybody. What's up?
What's up, 808? Welcome to the stream, buddy.
What's up, my man? How you doing, Eddie?
I'm doing well. So let's first start with the temperature in Hawaii. So we have a gentleman from Florida, and Florida is already humid and hot. How do you think Ken is handling this right now?
Not so well. I talked to him this morning on the phone, and he said Florida is humid, but Kauai said, "Hold my beer." He's hot right now. He's like, damn, it's freaking humid. We have right now it's 88 degrees over here. We get 78% humidity. So I guess he has to get used to that first. But good thing is he's going to be acclimated by the time he gets here to Big Island.
Yeah, I'm sure he's sweating, batteries, lipos all hot.
Right.
Okay, you know what the worst thing is when you're flying FPV and you have that foam and you just have all that sweat there.
Bruh, he's gonna hate it over here because he's gonna be sweating. Because I sweat a lot when I wear that FPV thing.
Yeah,
and it's like running, and plus I'm a fat guy anyway, so you know what I mean. I'm gonna be sweating.
Yeah, I hear that. All right, so we just want to say hello to the people in the chat. We have Fly Zone Drones, welcome. 51 Drones, Russ, welcome to the stream. B-Man FPV, B-Man is my buddy here in Long Island, New York. We always fly together. Drone Shots, Matt Bagwell. 808, who do you want to give a shout out to?
I have Robert C in my chat because I'm sharing this stream also on my channel as well.
Oh, cool.
So I get Uncle DK, I get Robert C, I got TJ Drones, Matt Bagwell, all these Maddie's Drone World, all those beautiful people that always show up and show, and Michael Connell, who always show super support for me and love it. Drone X Factor.
What's
up, bro?
Yeah, Drone X Factor for the official hot off the press Mavic Pro 3 feedback. Mavic Pro, not Mavic Pro 3. That's something I got to get rid of my terminology. Mavic 3. Mavic 3. Yeah, I also want to give a quick shout out to Capture Life and Lens Capture. I'm waking up with those two guys at 3 in the morning, and we're going to be going up north to fly some drones, some FPV drones. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Ken himself for hitting 50K.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We got a round of applause for Ken, man. He made it.
Yes, sir. He did.
Yeah, he's been putting in so much work. You know, Ken is one of those guys that definitely puts in a lot of efforts into, everything he does. He's methodical about his YouTube videos. He thinks through. I mean, look at the DJI Action Cam. Even look at the Mavic 3, right? He has that already in possession, and rather than rush out there and put a video, he wants to make sure that he tests it. He understands the capabilities of that drone and bring back honest feedback. So, I think well deserved to Ken for reaching 50. Definitely next milestone is 100K, and I know he can achieve that any day now.
Oh yeah, that's going to be quick for him, especially now that he's focused fully on YouTube. Like when I talked to him this morning, I called him up and I told him, "Hey, how's Hawaii treating you?" He's like, "It's humid, but yeah, I want to do this, so we can pump out the video by Tuesday." Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What's cool about Ken testing out the Mavic 3 in Hawaii is that he's gonna get some epic footage. Like I'm sure it's just gonna be, beautiful landscapes. Hawaii is beautiful. I've never been, but just seeing footage from online and your footage, Hawaii is just beautiful.
Yeah, I told him already. He was like, "Oh yeah, I need this and I need that." I was like, "Bro, you just point into the direction of where you want to go that day, and I'll take you." I have good footage from all over, and I have like 2 minutes down, and we have the sunrise. So he wants to get up early Monday morning. We'll see how that goes.
Good luck with that.
So
Yeah, good luck with that.
So, but since he's staying with me, I'm just gonna kick in his door and tell him, "Get up, let's go."
Yeah. All right, 808. So do you want to jump right into the topic? Mavic 3, it's here. A lot of videos online. We have a lot of influencers that had this in their hands and they put out their videos, and also tons of noise, I want to say, on Facebook and other social media platforms. Just so much noise. I think that just overall, Mavic 3 is the drone that I think we were waiting for 2.5 years, right? We wanted all these features. Obviously, it came in a high price point, but hey, the whole world right now, right, with inflation, everything is just costing more. And then, I think that this drone came in a little bit over the top. I'm sure people in the chat have tons of questions and tons of comments about the Mavic 3, which we'll be paying attention to the chat as well tonight. And then we have, these 3 packages, but in all reality, 3 drones. We have the Mavic 3, and then we have the Mavic 3 Cine. So 808, what is your overall thoughts on the Mavic 3? Let's start there.
Overall, I would say that the Cine is not worth the 5K. Just having ProRes, which most people don't even have the power to process. It's more for a videographer business aimed at, but with a 4/3 camera and that weirdo zoom camera on the top, I think they could have, in my eyes, for the size that they put on that gimbal, they could have put a full frame sensor. If you go 4/3, go all the way and scrap that digital zoom, because it's not even optical zoom, it's digital,
Right.
So $5,000, in my eyes, not warranted. The $3,000, maybe if you really want to, if you make a living off of it. I think if you make a living off of those drones, you're going to be able to have the drone pay for itself. But $5,000, not warranted, not with ProRes, not with, if you have D-Log. Plus, if you want to release it with all its features. I mean, that's what most of the noise is all about. Most of the people say these features are not available. So
yes. Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
There's 2 sides to everything. I think about, yes, I think DJI could have done a better job releasing the drone up front with all the features. However, thinking as a business, you want to capitalize on the holiday season, right? People are going to spend cash this holiday season. You want to have the drone out there to ensure people can budget for that or make room for this new drone, right? Because the hobbyists, I feel like, we get excited with this kind of stuff. We're going to make it happen. We're going to get our hands on this technology some way, somehow. So, we'll make some sacrifices along the way, maybe skip rent 1 month and buy this drone. But, just thinking overall, I mean, even now, I think technology is changing. Us consumers, we're getting spoiled and we want more. We want give me. We want more. And it's hard for these companies to catch up. And a lot of things that we buy today, for example, I think about, I bought a new camera recently. I got the Sony A1. And initially I didn't get it when it was first released because there was a lot of features missing that the A7S III had, But guess what? Now the A1, which is a flagship camera, has these features because of firmware updates. Um, I bought a car last year, or I think over 18 months ago now, and a few key features didn't work, such as Wi-Fi in my car. um the ability to connect my phone and stream like video to the like dashboard display was a feature that was announced, but it wasn't available. But guess what? 6 months late down the road, it was available because of firmware update. So I think that's one of the things that we'll start to see in technology is we'll get the basics. I mean, look, perfect example, iPhone 13, right? The biggest hype on that announcement was what? Was ProRes and the cinema camera, the ability to change that focus pulling automatically with AI. Was that Did that come with the iPhone 13 on day one? The
Nope.
answer is no. It was just
Nope.
added.
Yeah. Well, I mean, DJI was upfront about it. They said it right off the bat. They said, "Oh, certain features are not available until the update January, February." Now the question is, so why did you bring it up before? Because you want to make money. It's
Right.
right before the holidays. You want to make money. What is good about that release is that they popped it out before, like way in advance, so that people are actually going to be able to somehow scrape the dollars together to get that thing for yourself, whatever it is. But I just don't see that the price tag is warranted for it. People have been waiting 3 years for an upgrade after the Mavic 2 Pro. I downloaded from Tom's Tech Hardware channel some footage of the Mavic 3, and I compared it to my Autel Evo 2 Pro. I'm not
It's a nice
impressed.
comparison. You're not impressed?
I'm not impressed. I'm The thing is, when if you're just like, let's say like me, you're a YouTube content creator, if you're not a business, it's not worth spending that amount of money as a hobbyist. If you want it and you can afford it, no problem. But don't go into debt. I've seen people going into debt on credit cards, getting higher payments. They end up paying $7,000 for their Cine version if they go with the credit card because of the interest and all that stuff. For a hobbyist, for content creation on YouTube, it's not worth it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like if you want to film 4K, go with the Auto Evo 2 Pro. Plus, why am I spending $5,000 for geofencing?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I have so many restrictions over here on certain areas where I cannot take off from a DJI FPV, and a regular FPV self-built is going to take off.
Yeah.
Why doesn't DJI learn from the past and say, why are we still restricting people of flying in those? You know what I mean? I don't know what is the business model behind that. I still restricting people. I mean, for us, pro flyers, pretty much, it's good. The pro operators, it's good because it keeps the idiots out of certain areas they're not supposed to be. If they don't know better.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, geofencing, man, so many guys that I know that have businesses that tried to fly their Mavic 2 Pro back then. When I showed them my Autel Evo 2 Pro, my Autel never care. She just take off and I just shoot my stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
One thing that I was hoping to see in the Mavic 3, especially at the price point, was DJI acknowledging remote ID in the United States, right? So remote ID FA. So we're spending all this cash. Like for example, I bought it, and I'll get into it in a few later on. But you shell out all this cash. How am I protected with remote ID? I don't want to add a module later down the line to a $3,000 or $5,000 drone, because guess what? I could have done that with my Mavic 2 Pro. I could have done that with my Air 2S. I could have done that with my Phantom 4. So my investment, how is it going to be guaranteed for remote ID, which I think is coming up in a few years, right? It's right around
Yeah.
the corner.
Yeah. It's not that. It's like a year and a half that they have to propose it on how they want to solve it. And then I think like a few months after that, it's going to hit the consumer itself. Um, Looking at the things though, when you look at how technology evolved, I think it's not going to be that hard to add on a small module. Technology wise, it's going to be pretty easy, and I think everybody was going to come up with their own thing.
Right.
Oh, you can add this onto your Auto Evo 2 Pro, you can add this onto your Mavic 2 Pro, whatever. DJI is going to come up with their own, and then plenty aftermarket guys are going to come up with their own, and then FAA is going to announce the finals too on what they really want and what is the requirements.
Right.
So right now they had it at first where there's like, oh yeah, we wanna have it that you have internet access at the same time. Well, you have so many rural areas that, like, even over here on the Big Island, like, we're so far off the shot. Sometimes I just don't have satellite. and I don't
Yeah.
have internet. And like, how am I gonna be able to use that remote ID? And the other part, what many people miss to ask is, if I don't have remote ID on my drone, am I still gonna be able to take off?
Right.
Or is the programming on the software update now restricting me to take off because I don't have remote ID? How is it going to interlink with that? I
Yeah.
think that's the biggest problem.
Lon says DJI already has remote ID built in Aeroscope, which is, I think that could be true because I do see it in the features when you dig into the menu. There is our Aeroscope on there. Also, quick shout out to Original Dobo for popping in the chat. Ken, since this is your stream and you always like to keep it rated R, I just want to say I hope your balls are not sweaty right now.
Guaranteed they sweaty. Guaranteed, because mine's are.
Look at that.
Guaranteed.
808. So let's really talk about the topic of today's stream, right? So Mavic 3 Cine, hype or not, right? So we have the core package at, I don't know what it is, like I wasn't looking at it, like 2189, 2200, whatever it is, 2300. Then we have the Fly More, right, for $3,000, and then you have the Cine package at $5,000. What are your thoughts on those three bundles? And if you were to buy this as a consumer, or prosumer, I should say, because I know you do work professionally, where would you lean towards and why?
Probably just with the Fly More combo, simply because I don't see myself. I have the power to process the ProRes. I wouldn't necessarily wanting to use it because it takes up so much space. Plus, I don't want to run into having that data transfer from that SSD to 1 terabyte over onto my computer. Besides that, I don't need necessarily a smart controller to fly the thing. I can just utilize the regular controller because I have a triple tech that I use for all my other drones. And to save, just simply to save up money. I think I can pay off the 3,000 quicker with jobs than with the 5K. Besides that, as a Cine, just because it says Cine on top, I don't think that I would personally go for my business model with a $5,000 investment. That's why I never opted for the Inspire 2 back then. I was looking at that business model. I was looking at it, and it has a more powerful camera still yet than the Mavic 3. And it's just, what is good about the Mavic 3 is all these, the range. I love that it has that return home obstacle avoidance. Like, you press return home, it doesn't. You're not gonna risk crashing this sucker going straight up when the battery is low, and you just wanted that extra shot, and you below something. The drone will find a way to get around it.
It's like
That's what I've seen.
smart return to home. Yeah.
Yes, and I totally dig it. And I don't know. I mean, is it just me? You're frozen. Your camera's frozen.
Oh wow, yeah. I wonder why that's happening. It happened earlier.
I don't know.
It takes Dobo not being here for me to mess it up, right?
Right.
It's saying my network connection is 0 out of 10, but obviously you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. It's just
Let me disable, come back.
Let's see if it works.
No,
you're not there yet.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna refresh real quick. I'll be right back.
All right. Anyways, guys, so that's why I didn't opt for the 5K option, even though I run my own business. I ran with if I do go with the Mavic 3, which I'm still debating on, I will run with the 3K option, just simply because it's more economically feasible to do it. And plus, I don't necessarily want to run with the ProRes. Would be nice to have it, but I just can't see I can't get over that edge of spending $5,000 for it just to have a smart controller and an SSD. It's just not feasible for me. I just can't. As a prosumer, if you want it as a hobbyist, like I said, if you can afford it, by all means, go for it. And I mean, like, why not? It's a toy, and like, people gonna play with it, and sooner or later, people gonna crash it too. And it's after all, DJI does create some great products. And with the bag that comes with it, the Fly More combo and all that stuff, it's 4K 120. You can get some great shots out of that whole thing. It's just, I don't see the feasible part in spending $5,000 for it. That's just my opinion about it.
Well, I went ahead and I spent the $5,000, so I bought the Cine package.
I've seen that.
Well, I don't have it yet. It's I bought it from Best Buy, and they're shipping it out on December 3rd, so I should have it, 1 or 2 days after. Um, but here's my thought process as to why I bought the Cine package. So I knew already that I wanted to start with the Fly More. I think for me, anytime I buy a DJI drone, DJI combo, Fly More for me is baseline because one battery is just not enough. Even with the extended flight time, I know I'm gonna go out there and spend more money on batteries. So rather than buy it separately, I'd rather just buy it as a Fly More combo. You get the nice little hub, etc. So Fly More is $3,000 right off the bat, right? I am spoiled with the DJI smart controller. It's just the DJI smart controller travels with me everywhere I go. Even when I'm flying FPV and I'm flying with people that don't fly FPV, I connect my goggles to it and they can see my FPV flights from air units. It's convenience. I've flown with iPads before. I've flown with my iPhone. I did fly with the first version of the Triple Tech tablet. Just don't want to carry extra stuff and know that I have another piece of equipment that I have to charge. That's just my personal preference. So you add the Fly More package, right? 3,000 plus smart controller for another 1,200. We're looking at $4,200. My thought process was, hey, if I'm already spending $4,200, let me just spend the additional $800 and get the very best. I look at it as you went to the dealership to buy that, let's just call it a Toyota Camry, and there's that next trim level which is just going to add maybe $20 more to your payments, but you sacrifice those $20 and then you're with this car for 3 to 5 years and you're regretting it each and every day that you don't have those features for $20 a month. That's the way I look at it. Now, going back to the Cine package, Billy Kyle, and shout out to Billy uploaded a really, really good video. And if you guys haven't watched that, you should definitely watch that on ProRes 422. And I know many people have made this comment as well, all through social media and Facebook, etc. ProRes is just ProRes. It's not ProRes RAW. It's just ProRes the codec. What I think for $5,000, I wish I had ProRes RAW. My Inspire 2 has ProRes RAW, and that would have been phenomenal. So I think shortcomings with the Cine package, definitely that it does not include ProRes RAW. Is that something that can be added later on with firmware? Who knows? But again, I think about those features. I don't have the Cine package because I wanted to save those $800. Now an upgrade came. I can add ProRes RAW, but I can't take advantage of that because I don't have the Cine package. That's one. Another quick shortcoming that the Cine package had, which I did not like, is the fact that the SSD is not removable. Like with the Inspire 2, I can remove the SSD, and I think that's important because who knows? Like an SSD is a drive; it can become corrupt, right? Like a memory card. Although I think it's much better technology, but it still has the possibility of getting corrupt. As well as when you're gonna transfer 1 terabyte, if you're out there shooting 808, right? And you're out there shooting for 20-30 minutes in ProRes, it's a couple of gigs. Like it's not like a 5-minute SD card dump. You're gonna be on there for like 15-20 minutes. And I hope you guys have computers with USB 3.0 at this point in time to transfer that. But how do you transfer that footage from your SSD to your computer? You got to make sure your battery is charged, that you have enough juice on that battery. You got to plug it in through USB. And that was an opportunity that I saw with the Cine package that I didn't like. So ProRes, not including ProRes RAW and not having removable SSD. But I still went ahead and went for that top tier package.
I'm happy for you, my friend. There was a question in the chat earlier that said, "Can you record to the besides the SSD to a SD card as well if you want to?"
Say that. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
In the chat, it said something about the SD card. Can you record to the SD card instead of right here? Does the Cine version also record to an SD card if you want?
Yes, it does. Okay. Not ProRes though. So you can record, 422 footage, A264, A265, H265, H264 onto an SD, but you won't be able to record if you have the Cine package. You cannot record ProRes onto an SD card. It has to go to the SSD because of the bandwidth. And that the micro SD card is just not fast enough for that bit rate.
And then I wanted to give a shout out to David Vaughn. Thank you for your $4.99 to Dobo's channel.
Oh yes,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you, David. Shout out to Jake too. Jake Sloan is in the chat. He has uploaded some fantastic footage up in Alaska with the Mavic 3.
Jake has always such great footage from up there. I mean, if I wouldn't be living in Hawaii, I would say, hey, let's move to Alaska. It looks so great up there. It's so cold.
It's like night and day, 808. From Hawaii
so
to
cold.
Alaska.
Oh man, we have a lot of Hawaiians actually live in Alaska. They all moved, you know.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
But plenty of people say, or somebody said, Michael Connell says it's like buying a Cadillac to be an Uber driver. It's really pretty, but not necessary. I'm still amazed with my Alter Evo 2 footage.
Yeah,
there you have it. You know, but like I said, if you can afford it, go for it. I mean,
absolutely.
We've been waiting for the M3 now. What? 3 years. The one thing that I don't want to do with this whole thing is what bugs me is whenever something like this comes out, it only takes a few months before they come out. Oh, check out the new Mavic 3 Cine Pro.
Right.
And you're like, dude, I just spent $5,000 on this. You know what I mean? At least let us know that there's a pro version coming, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, they like do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, I can definitely see that happening.
Yeah. And if that's the case, then, you know, maybe I do sell the motorcycle.
Yeah.
I'd love to. I mean, I'm gonna look forward to when Dobo comes here on Sunday that I get my hands to see hands-on on that M3, and I might be surprised, you know what I mean? And the cool part is I'm gonna actually get to experience it. If he lets me fly it, I'm gonna fly it, you know, and I'm gonna put it up against my Evo 2 Pro, because I have been flying now 6,000 flights, 8,500 miles with my Evo 2 Pro, and I'm like a Autel fanboy now, you know. I like DJI too, because I love my DJI FPV. And like I said, DJI does bring out some great products. And what I like about DJI is they're like the Swiss tool knife, you know, the Swiss knife. They have like all these gimmicks, like, oh, put the controller sticks into the handles and stuff. It's like those small things that, like with the Cine version, the bag that comes with it, what I've seen, I think it was Peter Lindgren who showed it. You can actually modify that bag that it becomes a backpack.
Right.
Plus, it doesn't have those flimsy plastic clips. It has metal clips. So they're looking into certain things that if you don't really pay attention to it at first, those ones are the things that you're like, whoa, DJI really knows what they're doing. But then sometimes you're like, DJ, what the hell are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, why is this? You know, for an example, geofencing. It always brings me back to geofencing.
Yeah.
DJI is known for geofencing.
Yeah. And now that you mentioned geofencing, something that just came to my mind, the Fly app. The Fly app. I can't keep saying it enough. It's just like, why? Like, I don't think anything was wrong with the Go 4 app. I know there's people that love it, right? I think Ken has learned to love it. Billy, I talk to Billy like daily. He's learned to love it. But I think you're adapting to it because you have no choice. But a prosumer drone, why load the Fly app onto that drone? I mean, you think about 808. I don't know if you flew the Phantom before.
No, I never got to.
Okay. So like the Phantom is considered almost like it is a prosumer drone, right? And you have different dials on the remote where you can just change your aperture, you can change your shutter speed, you can change your ISO, all from dials on the remote as you're going. So you don't have to touch the screen. On the Fly app, you can't do any of this stuff. And with the Go 4, oh, there goes my camera again.
Your camera goes again.
I don't know what's going on. Let me refresh. That was gonna kill me. I'm doing this on purpose, Ken. If you're watching, I'll be right back.
Yeah, Ken, please don't blame me on this. My camera is working perfectly fine. So
there you go. I'm back.
All right.
I don't even know why this is happening. So weird.
I have no idea either, because yours one is an A6500, mine's one is a 64. So is it Restream? Is it
the camera is fine? It's Restream saying I lost my internet, which is not true, because you can still hear my audio. I'm still, I'm watching the chat. I can see you, but it's saying that I have no internet. Restream. Very weird. And I have done this with Dobo now, like for 4 weeks, and this has never happened. But it's probably him pressing a button behind the scenes in Hawaii.
Hey, who knows? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I watched last week's one, and he caught you twice.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like at the end of the stuff. So that's
You know,
why I was kind of happy that when I was singing my stuff off over here that we weren't live yet, because I
yeah.
didn't know that I was there, because it showed up for me that I'm backstage, but it didn't show that I'm there yet. It said
Oh,
connecting. So when
oh,
I was singing my butt off, and then all of a sudden I looked and I was like, wait, I hear somebody, and then I looked at it and I was like, oh, I mean, I'm sorry.
yeah.
So yeah, no kinky stuff after.
No, no,
We
we're
don't
not
we
gonna do
don't
that.
we don't do that. No, we don't
That's
do that.
just Dobo.
So you guys don't need to stay after. You know what I mean? You don't have to, because we don't do this whole we're still in the stream thing.
So 808, let's talk a little bit about the smart controller.
Mhm.
And I think and I really want to ask you like your opinions on the smart controller, because I know you had a lot of insights. Did you end up purchasing Autel's smart controller, or are you waiting for it, or
I actually got my hands on one, got to use it, and it broke. Like
oh
the
wow.
screen went out, so I had to send it back. So that was I don't know if that was a prototype or it was used when it got to me. So I don't know if it was, you know what I mean. So I just sent it back, and I had my hands on the smart controller. Like I said, it's good. Like you said it before. It's good to have a smart controller like that. Like for an example, the smart controller for the Mavic 3 does control all the other drones, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the cool part. So you don't have to have, like, for me, for an example, with the Autel and the Mavic 2 Pro, I have like those Skyfire area mounts, and then I put my tablet on top. You don't have any of those. Plus, this Mavic 3 smart controller has what, 1,000 nits?
I believe it's 1,000 nits. Yeah, just 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 1,000 nits is super bright. Question: how long does it last? Like when you fly it, how many batteries of your drone?
Say that
Did you
again.
try it
I'm
yet?
sorry.
How long does it last? How many flights of your batteries? How many batteries can you go through before it's dead?
I usually go out with 5 Mavic 2 Pro batteries, and I'm able to fly all 5, and I still have like 2 bars left on my control. So I'm still maybe like at 30% left
Oh
with
wow.
5
Okay.
batteries.
So
Yeah.
that's pretty similar to like the Autel Evo 2 with the triple tech, and especially now with the new triple tech. The problem was that the triple tech always used to draw a lot of power from the controller itself. And we all know that the Autel Evo 2 controller is a pile of crap. So it's not really the best. But it lasted me usually about 5 to 6 batteries as well, but then it was done, and then you
Yeah.
had to recharge them.
Yeah.
I like the smart controller function that you have one big screen on there, plus the OcuSync 3 and all that stuff, all the bells and whistles with it, and you can operate other drones with it. That's super cool. I really like that. And I think that's really good. So that, I would say, is worth putting onto the package, which ends up, like you said, is 4,200. And then
Yeah.
you end up with 800, spending 800 just on that SSD on the ProRes.
Mhm.
That's your 800 that you're spending it on.
Right.
And when you look at one CF Express these days, like what they run like $500 for the terabyte.
Correct.
And then even for the 4D, I think the DJF 4D, that one, for example, too, their stuff comes with a $800 1 terabyte SSD. That you can
Yeah.
clip onto the side.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's reasonable. It's reasonable to have that on there. It's pretty much like they just upgraded it. They tell you that the senior version is a version where you can record that stuff with that 1 terabyte. You know, the Flymo combo, the Mavic 3 itself, apparently appears to be capable of doing it. It's just you don't have that SSD on it. That's all it is. But
Correct.
you have still the 4K 120.
Right. Which I mentioned is it's very similar based on footage that I've seen. But going back to the smart controller really quick, I know a lot of
Check your
consumers
phone,
are
bro.
upset. Yeah, I know,
Check
I
your
know.
phone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's threatening me. Uh,
Oh, should I check my phone? Do I have to check my phone too?
no, I think you're good. But
Yeah, I'm good.
the smart the smart controller. So a lot of people are upset that the smart controller is not backwards compatible, right? So the new RC Pro, I think is what they're calling it, does not work with the Air 2S, with the Mavic 2 Pro, with the Phantom 4, etc. Where the smart controller 1, has been compatible with all these drones, including the Air 2S, right? The Air 2S came out, it's OcuSync 3, and smart controller 1, there was a firmware upgrade to that where it allowed it to work. Now, you know I asked you specific questions about Autel, and not to corner Autel in the corner, but when Autel released their smart controller, did they make theirs backwards compatible? Crickets. Crickets like their releases.
I got caught off guard on that question. I have no idea. I
Yeah.
actually don't know because I don't own an Altel Evo 1.
Right.
So I know that the app is always shared with the Altel Evo 1 and the 2. But then they came up with that V2 smart controller, and that one was not backwards compatible with anything. It's just V2. You know, the V1, on the other hand, I have no idea because when they send it to me, they send me the V2 and they send me the smart controller, and then I couldn't operate it because the screen wouldn't work. You know, and I was like, this is useless, you know, and then all of a sudden, boom, after that was crickets. I sent it all back, and then I never heard from it again. Just like with the announcement, they announced, oh, let's bring out the Nano and the Light, and it's going to be a nanosecond until like next year.
A nanosecond. We'll see that drone 20. You know, the V copter is gonna have more success than those Altel drones.
I know, and I tried to buy one because in the last stream I told him that I'll just buy one and he could fly it here. Then I seen that he actually flew one on spin up and stuff, and I ended up never purchasing one over here because they're not able to ship it to Hawaii. How's that? Like they can't ship it to Hawaii, so I couldn't buy it here.
Wow.
I would have bought one just to have it here in time for him. And that day I tried to buy it, and it wouldn't ship to Hawaii. So I was like, whatever, you know.
Yeah. What else? What other questions do we have in the chat? So, you know, I don't own a Mavic 3 yet. I am surrounded by individuals that you know do own it. I've spoken to many people that have the Mavic 3, so I may not be able to answer your question. Just know that Ken right now is in Hawaii. He has the Mavic 3 with him. He is working on it, so he's going to come out with, you know, so many videos for you guys, and will be able to answer many of these questions for you in the future. My final you know, thought process with the Mavic is, look, you know, whether it's Mavic, the drone, smart control, the new smart controller or not, like we've been asking for this. Like we've, you know, 3 years in the making, 3 years waiting for a drone, and finally it's here. So, you know, I think we need to learn how to I don't want to say appreciate the technology, right? Because we are paying our money for it. But these are things that we wanted, and technology is just going to cost more. Smart controller is a big example of that. It pisses me off when I see all these negative comments online, and I'm not a professional, right? I'm not a $100,000 $100,000 100K subscriber 100K channel on YouTube. I'm just, you know, a little guy who loves technology. I spend my hard-earned cash on technology. I'm a gear hoarder, pretty much. I want to buy everything, right? And you know, I just think back and I reflect, how many times did I hear, oh, the smart controller sucks, the smart controller lags, the smart controller this, the smart controller that. Now the new RC Pro is here. You can buy it. It's going to work with future drones. It might work. It might be backwards compatible in the future. Who knows, right? DJI will work on that stuff. We all know that firmware updates can make miracles happen, but we're complaining about $1,200. Like, I think it is the cost to do business now. I'm not a DJI advocate per se, right? I'm open to other brands as well. I've used other brands, but it's just it is the new world that we're in. It's the new way of doing business, and unfortunately, because of COVID, because of inflation, everything just costs more, and we need to. I think we just need to adapt.
Yeah.
And
Nick
the
Trigger
travel
just
pilot
wrote
drone.
inside here. He said, "What do you wish the M3 had that it doesn't?"
Well, I think I answered that earlier. For me, and I'm talking about specifically the package I bought. I wish that it had removable SSD, and I wish that it had ProRes RAW. Those are the two things I wish it had, and some sort of professional app besides the Fly app, or an improved version of the Fly app. Those are my few takeaways.
Yep. For me personally, a lower price tag.
Right? True.
But like we said before, like the $3,000. Back then when the Altel Evo 2 Pro came out, the standard or the Pro version was 2,200, I think. With the Fly Mode came together like $2,499. I spent it, and I was happy that I did. And I think the same thing is going to happen with you. You debated about it. You went with the $5,000, and I think you're going to get paid off in the end. Alone, if you really want to do one day that ProRes thing, and seeing the ProRes versus the regular, what they get, 5.1K and stuff,
Yeah.
If you go into detail and the punch in and all that stuff, and the color science, it's amazing. Like even the Mavic 2 Pro in comparison to my Auto Evo 2 Pro, I was amazed for a 2-year-old drone stinking on against the Evo 2 Pro that the color science was really easy to work with. D-Log and all that stuff. It was really, really great to work with. And I'm not a color grading kind of guy. You know what I mean? I don't do that whole color grading stuff. I try to bang out my shots right off the bat. The one thing that I always said that bugged me about Autel was that they didn't have enough what you call those? The automated flights, the intelligent flight modes.
Uh-huh.
Because if you are a business and you want to have a subject right there and you don't know if you're a good pilot or operator. I hate to use the word pilot, but if you're a good
Yeah.
operator, you're gonna be able to do that perfect circle around somebody, and you're gonna be able to have that. With an intelligent flight mode, you just mark the subject, and it does it. So now you can do it 4 or 5 times. For a business, that's time. Time is money, and if you can bang it out with an intelligent flight mode right off the bat, and I say it that way, DJI always had better intelligent flight modes. Always. They had that spiral going on with the freaking Mini, with the Mini 2. They had that zoom shot. I mean, even Paradanafi was able to come up with the dolly zoom shot where the drone flies backwards and zooms inwards at the same time, so it makes that dolly zoom. I don't know why they don't just can't do that right off the bat, because those things are money, and you don't want to spend time as a pilot to figure out, okay, this is the right height and this is the circle that I got to do and fly it. And you want to just do intelligent flight mode. Okay, this is my subject. This is what I want to do. Boom, press a button, ready, go, do it. That's time. Time is money. And for a business, I caught myself many more times using the intelligent flight modes on my Autel Evo 2 Pro as well,
Yeah.
including track, including everything else, which was actually just a tripod tracking, not the following mode. Because the following mode itself, Skydio blows everybody out of the water with that one.
Right.
They're really good. I've seen the Skydio 2 track somebody on a bicycle, on a mountain bike, going through bushes and shit, and that was great. Like I was like, damn, my Auto Evo 2 Pro would have been in the bushes right there. It would have been somewhere else. It's so aggressive and it flies like super aggressive towards an obstacle. If there's a live wire somewhere in the way, it's gonna clip it. The obstacle avoidance sucks on Auto Evo 2. Not sure about the Mavic 3 when the tracking gonna come out, because they don't have the tracking active yet. But I think DJI always comes up with really good stuff when they do software wise. They're really good at it, and I think when January, February comes, that Mavic 3 is gonna astound a lot of people. The intelligent flight mode's coming in handy and stuff. It's gonna do that stuff. I think that's gonna make a big difference for people.
Yeah.
And until then, I still have time to probably get the stocks up and get money together. And once more units are available, I'm probably gonna purchase one just for the hell of it. I'm just gonna play with it.
Yeah. I think well said, 808. And I think, realistically speaking, forget about the Cine package, because Cine package I think is dedicated to a specific audience. Um Cine package aside, Mavic 3 Fly More, Mavic 3 base, I think it's at a reasonable price. I think $3,000 for the capabilities that this drone will have, especially like you mentioned, 808, come January when the firmware update is released and you have, APAS 5.0, you have 4K 120, and who knows what other enhancements are going to come down the pipeline. The 4K dongle, the 4K dongle, 4G, not 4K dongle, the 4G dongle that's might be potentially added here. All that stuff, I think it's gonna really attract a lot of people. And you know, I want to just say that the people that I know that own it, not YouTubers who received it, not the influencers, like people that work day to day and they went out there and they spend their money, they were on the fence as well. But all I know is that everybody that has had their hands on this Mavic 3 and has flown it has fallen in love with it. Just the
Yeah.
performance, the vertical speed, the aerodynamics of it, the smart features, the smart return to home, like you mentioned. Even the way it calculates your return to home time. It calculates it. It takes into consideration wind speed, and it knows when you should be coming back or not. All that stuff is incredible. 4G
What
won't
I
be coming to America. Everybody's saying in the chat. I've heard that. I've heard that. So I stand correct on that.
what I think is that makes the 3K valuable, or the 3K reasonable for that M3 alone, is 4K 120. I don't have to say more, because when you look at cameras too, you look at hybrid cameras like the A64 or my A7 III, all those things. I'm looking into 4K 120. Why? Because most of the time, if I wanna film something, and I have to go back to 1080p to film in 120, now having that on a drone and having the capability of going 120, and I make an intelligent flight mode or a circle of something, and I have crushing waves against the cliffs and stuff. If I have 4K and I can punch in a little bit more without the loss of resolution,
Mhm.
bruh, that's money.
Yeah.
Those ones are money shots, automatic.
Yeah.
You know, and then not to talk on the optical zoom, but the secondary camera that is in there with the automatic zoom or with that long zoom. I seen somebody posted it. I forget who it was. It was on Facebook. Sorry, I would love to credit you, but I seen it where they look downwards, 400 feet straight onto one house, and they went zoom down all the way, and you could see the panels. You could see panels of the roofing, the sheeting on the roof. For inspection wise, that camera will be able to do that. If you are 120 feet away and you zoom in, and you don't have to go to full 28, you're still going to be able to inspect stuff, and that is going to make you money too. You guys
Yeah.
don't realize how much inspection work I actually do. I inspect roofing. I inspect all kinds of stuff. I don't need no thermal for that. I do roof inspections, solar panels, and all that stuff. So that one roofer does not have to go up there, especially if it's a 3-story building or 2-story building. They don't want to climb up there and check out. So you can zoom in. With this drone, you're like 50 feet away, and you can zoom in and you can see everything. That is going to make you money big time. And that's where it's pretty much is at. But 4K 120 alone, I catch myself on the Auto Evo 2 Pro barely filming in 6K, barely. I mean, if I really do want to have that super wide shot of going 400 feet up, and I want to have that entire black
Mhm.
sand beach with the waves crushing up and receding, then I do film in 6K. But you gotta have the V60, V90 installed. You gotta have the processing power of your computer to process that stuff, and downscale it afterwards into 4K. But then you have that bigger resolution. You have just the wider view. And in my eyes, 4K 120 is a big step, because now you can film that slow-mo that you really wanted in 120. And even if you mess up a shot, sometimes you know it when you fly on your own and you go sideways, and just so happen you just hit the stick one time and it goes like jerk to the side, and you're like, oh, and you like choke
Yes.
somebody's neck, just because now you have 120. You can slow it down. If you render your stuff in 24 FPS, that's 25%.
Yeah.
So that means that jerk is going to be barely noticeable.
It's gonna be buttery smooth.
Super smooth.
Buttery
And that's
smooth.
what I like about it. And then you
Yeah.
have that D-log, and then what is it, Cine-log, D-log, something like that.
Decent
It's going to
alike.
be great. Yeah, Cine-log, it's going to be awesome. That's why I think $3,000. I think I'm going to jump in with that if I can. I'll purchase later on the smart controller for it for $1,200 add-on. I just don't see myself for the ProRes. I'm not a big fan of that ProRes because I'm not Netflix. I'm not freaking
Right. Right. Right.
Amazon Prime. I ain't filming nothing like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do commercials for businesses locally, and I do all this other stuff. But ProRes, come on, ProRes, really? Like, I don't need ProRes. I'm not filming anything like that. I do make a short film right now for myself, for my channel. But
Mhm.
whatever I have, I'm going to use that for that. But ProRes is not justified for me. So the $800, you can keep them. I'm not going to use it. But the Mavic 3 itself looks like a really nice drone. So I'm probably going to try come up with the $3,000 and I'm going to pick one up.
Nice. That's what I wanted to hear. 808.
Oh, yeah.
Sell the Autel.
Well,
No, you still need the Autel. I understand. Autel has a place.
yeah.
Autel has a
I
place.
think mine's one does, because she's been with me so long. She's been with me almost 2 years now, and or coming up to 2 years. And like those 8,500 miles, it leaves its mark. It's like a sentimental value. It's like my my Paradigm Alfie. This is like my 4th Paradigm Alfie, and I still fly it. I do crazy stuff with it.
Imagine.
I fly it around so that my kids can shoot it with a Nerf gun and stuff. It's just that's what it's for. You know what I mean?
That's great.
I just love it.
What questions are in the chat? Ken says 30 frames per second or bust 808. So stop shooting in 24.
I thought he was like a hardcore 24 frames per second kind of guy.
I think a lot of people have moved on to 30. 30
Yeah,
frames.
I do 30 as well. You know, I do 30 as well. But like I said, if you do film in 24 or
Yeah.
if you do render in 24, that 120, even in 30, it still gives you what, four times slowdown.
Yeah.
You know, that's it's still great. It's gonna look super smooth. You know,
Jaybird Aerial Photography LLC. My Mavic 3 Cine was delivered today. Congratulations. Miko Ghost. I am loving my Mavic 3. Um, Videography HD. I currently love the Air 2 and the Air 2S. You know, the Air 2S is still not a bad choice, guys. I think, you know, many are comparing footage Air 2S to Mavic 3. I think they're on different categories, right? Obviously, because of the 1 inch versus the micro four thirds. But during the day, I don't know if you'll see much of a difference. Of course, you'll get, you know, sharper images, sharper details in your video. At night, 100% sure you're gonna see the difference in low light situation, right? The micro four thirds is gonna blow that Air 2S camera out the water. But for the price point, when you're comparing, Air 2S is a beautiful drone. A lot of people love it, and it's just great overall.
Split Rock just said, do we know if DC alike will be in future firmware for Mavic 3? I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
I well, no, I'm saying yeah. It's a good question. I'm also hearing a lot of that. I'm not sure, to be honest. I think I if I and the chat can correct me. I think decent alike is not in the Fly app overall, right? So the Air 2S does not have decent alike, and the Air 2 does not have decent alike. The chat can answer this. I don't own an Air 2S,
Me
so
neither.
I wouldn't be able to answer that question.
I wanted to get me one at some point, but then I was like, nah, I get my E2P. I don't need that.
Yeah. Lon says, why would you want decent like if you have D-Log M? Um, that's a valid point. You know, D-Log, you're gonna get that 10-bit color. However, Lon, I think decent
You're
like
stuck again. Your camera stuck.
oh, look at that. That's for Dobo. Dobo, this is the third time, buddy. Third time for you, baby. Let me refresh. I'll be right back.
Yeah, Eddie. That Ken. That's all Eddie. That's all on Eddie. That's has nothing to do with me. So please forgive me.
Am I back? I'm back. Look at that.
That was
Refreshed.
quick.
Refreshed. But going back to Lon's comment, I think decent alike is for people that you don't want to spend a lot of time color grading, right? Because it's not like a true flat color profile. It's sort of like a hybrid, right? Of standard color profile versus completely flat. So it's just easier, I think. But you're right. You know, if you have D-Log Y, you know, I think just do it right the first time and record in D-Log.
True, but like me, I'm a terrible color grader.
Okay. Yeah.
It's horrible. So if you have a DC alike and you get it right out the box, then why? You know, just play
Yeah.
around with the contrast and the exposure a little bit, and
That's
you
true.
do it.
I think about like even Sony cameras, right? You have S-Log and you have HLG.
Mhm.
HLG is easier to grade than S-Log. S-Log, if you don't know what you're doing, you can make your footage look disgusting.
Yeah, it's horrible. Like I tried it in the beginning, like the first couple times, and I was like, "What am I doing here?" And I have DaVinci Resolve, which is usually
Okay.
superior in color grading,
Yeah.
you know. But it's I don't know. I just can't get the hang of it. It's really hard for me. So I like the natural colors already from the Sony. From the Sony, I'm a Sony shooter, so
Yeah.
I know
Sony
Ken
has
is
some
a
great colors.
Panasonic kind of guy. Yeah, no,
Yeah, I shoot Canon and Sony, and I think both have. I prefer Canon's colors right out the camera, but I know Sony's not bad at all.
yeah.
What other questions do we have in the chat? Someone asked earlier, you know, which drone is heavier, the Mavic 2 Pro or the Mavic 3? Definitely the Mavic 2 Pro by a little. The Mavic 3 is lighter,
2 grams.
2 grams lighter. There you
Yeah,
go.
2 grams.
That's why you're getting 40 minutes of flight time. One
No,
thing
I
that I,
think that's battery management. I think
yes,
that has to do with software management, and I wish Auto would jump onto that too. Because I mean, yeah, I do know that the Auto Lever 2 Pro is lighter, but the battery capacity is 7,100 milliamperes, and when you look at the Mavic 3, it's 5 grand, right? 5,000. So, and that brings out 40. So how come? What? You know, but I think it has to do with the materials, whatever they use, and what type of lipo they use. There's a difference, and I mean, batteries are getting better, but pretty soon the battery's gonna be this small, and you're gonna have like 60 minutes of
yeah.
flight time.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
I'm waiting.
okay,
I'm waiting. My dream, I think, and I've said this in the stream before. I think drones are becoming like cell phones, where there's an upgrade every year or every other year, but it doesn't really wow you, right? Like, to be honest, the Mavic 3 didn't wow me. Essentially, there's some nice features on there, but I wasn't blown away because I think we've reached probably, peak when it comes
Yeah,
to this
that
technology.
platform where you stay like flat. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
they do all the same thing. They're super stable. They're super solid in wind these days. They're big. They're nice looking. But now you have it like with the Mavic 3, the standard that is set is 4K 120. Everything that comes after that, I don't want to have to deal with it, right?
Mhm.
4K 120 is the future because of the filming of 4K being able to have to slow that down instead of filming in 1080p, upscaling it to 4K, and risk having a blurry image, you know? So
Yeah.
people want to have that detail and 1080p to 4K. I mean, if you watch it on your damn smartphone and you're a YouTube content creator, it doesn't really make a difference. Most content creators, big names, all film in 1080p. They film in 1080p 120, 240,
Mhm.
whatever it is, whatever the camera gives, and then they upscale to 4K. Now, on the drone, on the other hand, if you have that 4K 120, you want to get this nice shot of something super smooth that is usually very fast. Yeah, you have the wider angle. You have bigger picture to see, and you can. That's why 4K 120 is the future on
Yeah.
that part, and that is pretty much like where we're looking at right now. So if they do come out, probably in 10 years from now with the Alta Evo 3, so
10 years from now. But
so then pretty much they're gonna have to abide by that. And it's like I said, it's all about technology being stuck right now. It's the same with computers. Back then everybody was about, oh, this gigahertz and how much RAM and stuff, and it's on a platform. It's stuck right now.
yeah.
Right now it's all about graphic cards. Like, I mean, frick, the RTX 3090 is like 3 grand a graphic card. Back then a Dell used to cost like $1,200. So it was a good computer.
Yeah.
you know
I think the opportunity with drones and a lot of technology overall is battery. I think
yeah.
we need to see an improvement on in battery performance, make them safer, make them longer. I would love to see Tesla step into the consumer battery
Ooh,
world, right? Imagine a MacBook, imagine an M1 MacBook that gets you, days of battery life, days,
because
not
of
hours,
Tesla. Yeah.
right? Days. Imagine your drone, one battery is all you need for the entire day.
Yeah. And it's the same like with these batteries these days, like 7,100 milliampere versus 5,000. This one gives you 40 minutes, 30 minutes. To be honest, guys, I fly with the Alta Evo 2 Pro constantly. I cycled through a total of, I think it's 40 batteries now within my 2 years because I fly a lot. And to be honest, after 2 hours of flying, you're exhausted. Like you need to take a break. So having just the one battery, it's just going to come down to the minimalist kind of stuff, so you don't have to carry around. Because I have a backpack with 4 drones right now, and like all the batteries in there together with the chargers and the controllers and all that stuff, that thing weighs like 60 pounds. And
Yeah.
if you get batteries that can last way longer, and plus I don't know about the swelling part now with Mavic, because we had it with the Mavic 2 Pro where the battery started swelling
Correct.
up. And
Correct.
DJI was known for that. They're prone for that kind of stuff, to have bad batteries or a sort of type of selected battery that is either doesn't hold too many cycles, or it doesn't last long enough, or if you store it too long, then it wouldn't recharge and you have to reactivate the battery. So we're going to see with Mavic 3 how that stuff works out, how the Mavic 3 comes up with that whole thing of how these batteries are. But many people haven't looked at that yet. When influencers look at the stuff, they have it for a month and a half. And I don't think that many people got to fly or cycle through many batteries. And batteries is one of the main thing that you need for the drone.
Absolutely. Yeah. I want to highlight a quick question that we covered briefly earlier. Videography HG. Can you guys speak on the 4G dongle and capabilities DJI showcased during the release? So I think it was on the release, unless I missed something, it was very high level overview, right? So it would add, supposedly there's a dongle coming down the pipeline that's going to add the capability to 4G onto your drone. That way you get improved signal strength, right? I think then if you have 4G, your limitation might be just battery life. However, there's a lot of discussions saying that that's not coming to the US. And I can see why, right? I mean, I think about the FAA, right on board. So if you have a 4G dongle and now your signal strength is as far as that 4G signal, how are you keeping line of sight? Right. And then we also have all those FCC regulations as well, which they would have to incorporate with this technology. So I think it's more complex. I think it's a great idea, but it's just a complex world, and I wonder, where this 4G dongle will land. Something that we'll keep a close eye on to see which country or which region or which territory lands with this technology. But for now, the word out on the street is that it's not going to work here in the US. It won't be available in the US.
Why?
Well, I think again, limitations, right? You give FAA is involved, airspace, 4G signal. How do we control line of sight if you can go further than whatever it is? I mean, we're still getting incredible range now, which is beyond line of sight, visual line of sight. But
Constant.
yeah, but 4G is definitely going to take that one step further. So I
Yeah,
think
because like what is comfortably line of sight? 1,000 feet
yeah,
around there.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
I can barely see sometimes at the end of the football field. You know what I mean?
Well, if you're flying that big orange brick you have, I think it's 3,000 feet.
Yeah. Yeah, the orange brick, yeah. But the orange brick lasts, I'm telling you that. That's the good part. It has been with me 2 years now. Haven't crashed it once, not once. Not once. You know what I mean? So I'm happy about it. So but so what about spin up? We had something about spin up.
Oh yeah, so just quickly wanted to just touch on spin up. It looks like spin up was a great success. I saw a lot of pictures online, a lot of familiar faces. I know Lon was there babysitting Ken as always. Lon, if you want to type in the chat how that experience went with Ken. Um I think we're all interested to know. But Spin Up looks like it was a great success again. Kelly did an amazing job with that event. And I think one of the best things for me is when I attend. I've never attended a Spin Up event, but I know I've been to others such as like Rhode Island's meetup. I'm looking forward to maybe going to Florida coming soon to that South Florida drone meetup. It's just great to finally meet the people that you talk to online and actually just BS with them, just chat, get to meet with them, get to fly with them, and explore new environments, which is also great for me.
I gotta make it one day. One of these days I gotta make it there.
Yeah,
There's like so many things that I want to go to meet other droners.
yeah.
Droners, right?
Drone pilots.
Yeah, droners. So just like spin up and what was the other one? The
South
minefield.
Florida, there's Minefield, there's a South Florida meetup. Rhode Island started a thing as well.
Yeah, I
I'm
know that's super cool too.
yeah, I'm waiting for Jake to do something in Alaska. I
I
really want
know,
to go
me
fly
too.
in
But I don't
Alaska.
know if I want to go there. It's so cold, man.
I want to
I'm
go to
like,
Alaska. Yeah.
it's too cold.
808 question for you
Yeah.
is how is the drone hobbyist environment in Hawaii? Like, do you guys have like a local group? Like, do you guys meet up often and fly, or is just pretty much is drone a big thing in Hawaii?
There is a selected circle of people that does droning. There's on the other side of this island, there's the FPV circle, younger kids that are super good with that FPV stuff. They do some
Cool.
crazy things, and they're really good. Besides that, I have on this side of the island, I have a selected few. There's actually a lot of cinematographers that have their own business. They use it for like weddings and stuff.
Cool.
But I have personally flown with I think only like 5 or 6 people that I ran across that I constantly stay in touch with. And I know that there's one guy, Wendell, that is he has been doing drones for like 30 years, bro. Like he has built drones, he has FPV fixed wings, he has cars and all that stuff. Like I should hang out with him way more often. He has like so much knowledge. I just don't have the time to keep him involved all the time, sending him a message and telling him, all right, let's go. There's a lot of guys in Hawaii that actually do fly, and I would love to meet up with all those guys. It's just I'm so restricted in time. I have a full-time
It's
job. I
true.
work
Yes.
16 hours, 5 days a week,
Yes. I
and
remember
then I,
that.
I do the YouTube stuff, and
Yeah.
so it's
Not
yeah,
enough time in the day to get everything done. I hear you.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, yeah, there's a good circle of people here that flies drones, and I see once in a while I see drones flying around now my area over here. I never noticed it until the other day. I'm like listening. I'm like, I can hear something, and I
You
see
hear
it,
that pitch,
and I'm
the
like, huh?
distinct pitch noise. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I was like, oh, you want to play? And then I bring out my DJI FPV and I chase them down, and I
Yeah.
almost crashed into them too. Then I drove down the road and I figured, okay, if I can see you, I should see your operator somewhere. And I was like, I don't see you. I don't know where you at, but I just wanted to make friends, but like the other part is too, like if you go coastal lines over here and you fly your drone, you gotta watch out because over here is a little bit local, and then there's some guys that use drones for fishing, and that's frowned
Oh,
upon. So plenty of people don't really like that, And I know that somebody caught cracks one day, and the kid actually got bust up. They threw his pole, they broke his pole, threw him in the water, and they broke his drone, threw
oh
him in the
man.
water because they want to do the old school style. It's like, oh, you
Yeah.
want to slide bait, you know what I mean? Like put a trash bag and let the sucker carry out, but then boom, the trash bag in the water.
Wow.
Right, with a drone and a release mechanism, they just think it's cheating because you're looking down, you can see it,
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got to watch out for that. But I don't really, personally, I don't have no problem with it. I'm a big dude. Before you come to me and tell me something about it, people are more like, excuse me. So, but it's all right. I mean, I'm usually pretty chill, pretty relaxed, and most Hawaiians they're pretty cool with it as long as you don't get in their way. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
try not to. And if I see somebody who gets upset about it, like I'll run across to Kevin or Karen, and I'm pretty chill. They come to me and say, "Oh, you can't fly that here." Why is that, ma'am? And then she tell me, "Oh, because it's invading my privacy." You're walking here. You're walking in this park, just like I'm standing in a park. So how is it invading your privacy? I don't understand. And I try to get into a conversation with him, but if it doesn't go anywhere and she's just getting more and more upset, I'll just park in it. Tell her, I understand, and I don't want any problems, and I just pack it away. I'll go somewhere else. It's a whole island. I can fly wherever I
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
So
That's a good approach.
yeah. Happy Chef says, "Yeah, all big dudes in Hawaii." Pretty decent, good average, I guess. Nah, a little bit above average.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but
So,
host says, okay, yeah, it's been an hour already, man. I enjoyed
yeah,
it.
I think
I feel so honored. I got to host a 50K sub channel.
and this is the first time
Damn.
that I'm like really hosting a stream on my own with your partnership as well. I thought that I was gonna break. I mean, I did partially break the stream. I had to refresh 3 times, and I think it's coming up again.
Yeah. So before it happens, I would say thank you everybody for coming and joining us. And actually, I mean, we had 100 people watching.
It's
If you
incredible.
don't
That's
mind, hit
incredible.
the like if you really like what we did. Um,
Yeah. So
deeply appreciate it.
yeah, definitely put Ken on blast on Twitter at OriginaldoBo and congratulate him on the 50K. Is a huge milestone. I know this is a long time coming and I think way overdue. We definitely want to celebrate the next milestone as well. We'll get there very soon. Mavic 3 guys, I think we had a great discussion. We answered a lot of the questions. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I know Ken already is working on it and you guys will see some great videos from him, and I know many of these participants here in the chat came from Spin Up as well, and I know you guys had a tremendous time. And 808, you've been an incredible co-host, man. I think we need to do this more often.
I think so too. I
Yeah.
really enjoy it. I love live streaming. Actually, I like it. I like it more better than making actually episodes for the channel itself.
It's more interactive, and then you don't
Yeah,
and you don't have to sit there and edit after.
that too.
Yeah,
That's a
it's
good
just
point. I
it's
never even
raw.
thought of that.
Yeah, it's raw
Yeah,
footage.
true.
Yeah.
But if you mess up, you can't take it back.
Yeah. So 808, last question. When are you
Yes.
meeting up with Ken? When is he coming
This
over?
Sunday. So
This
this
Sunday.
Sunday, I'll pick him up at 7 because I gotta leave tomorrow for my anniversary with my wife. So I'm gonna be spending time with my wife and my kids, and then I come back that Sunday back home here, and then I'll pick him up from the airport. I think it's 7 p.m. And then hopefully by Monday morning, I gotta kick him out of bed so that we actually
Yeah.
get to film some sunrises and stuff.
Yeah. And
And
make sure you get
yeah.
your hands on that Mavic 3 and test it out. I want to hear your opinions on that.
Oh, definitely. I'm gonna try persuade him to let me fly it.
Yeah, he will. Ken is a great guy.
Yeah, he is.
definitely will let
That he
you.
is. I don't say nothing bad. I cannot say nothing bad about Ken. He's been always nice to me.
No.
So
All
all
right.
right.
Yep. So I think that's it. Thank you guys. 107 viewers right now. This is incredible.
Damn.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know Ken is gonna be proud, and hopefully I don't get fired and I'm here next week.
Yep.
All
Aloha,
right.
everybody.
All right, later.
I'll just get out my head and focus on what I know's coming. Yeah. Cause I can't fall asleep at night without seeing my dreams. Delusion and reality, I'm somewhere in between. These voices in my head get loud and they keep telling me that I'm a fool for trusting in these wings. But maybe, baby, this what flying feels like. 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 Yeah. Maybe all my exes just drinking themselves crazy tonight. Maybe I should call and say, told you I'd be right.
Oh yeah, baby. I forgot my pin. God, freaking. Get ready. What am I getting ready for? Eddie.
Hey.
I just answered your stuff over here. Lucky thing, I didn't get stripped.
I gave you the heads up. I said, get ready. Get ready.
Yeah,
You know,
and
we
I
have to
read
do
it and I was like, get ready. Get ready for what? Oh my goodness.
Well, at least you didn't start taking off your shirt.
Right?
Like
I
me.
didn't strip. Not like you. I didn't strip.
Yeah.
Yeah, over here, you better pay money for me to strip. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, exactly, right? All right, man. This
All right.
for real. All right.
All right.
All right.
I'll just get out my head and focus on what I know's coming. Yeah. Cause I can't fall asleep at night without seeing my dreams. Delusion and reality, I'm somewhere in between. These voices in my head get loud and they keep telling me that I'm a fool for trusting in these. I'll just get out my head and focus.
I'm breaking the stream. So imagine if I had audio camera issues and audio issues. And I sounded like this. And I had so much echo. These people will be so mad.
Oh, that reverb is good though. Ken is gonna kick your ass.
Later. This is it, guys. We're not coming back. This is really it. Later.
This is it. This is it.
I have to go fly tomorrow, and I gotta wake up at 3 a.m. So peace. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 69 still sticking around. Thank you. Later.
I'll just get out my head and focus on what I know's coming. Yeah. Cause I can't fall asleep at night without seeing my dreams.